Custom Model Designer. Thanks to the extensive possibilities of Custom Model Designer, allowing for hyper-personalization of the website through advanced and highly configurable pop-ups, you can convert and attract more new customers. This unique wizard allows selected groups of users to display pop-ups containing special offers based on their behavioral on website and CRM data. Control where, when, to whom, and what offer is to be displayed, all thanks to an easy-to-use wizard. In this video, you will learn how to create a pop-up in the advanced Custom Model Designer, how to set a thank you page in Custom Model Designer, how pop-up sending and display settings work. To create a pop-up in Custom Model Designer, go to the Lead Generation tab, then click Create New and select Custom Model Designer. First, select the devices on which you want the pop-up to be displayed. Here you can choose if you want your pop-up to be displayed on your desktop, smartphone, or both of them. Depending on your choice, the further configuration step will be slightly different. Click Next to proceed to the next step of creating the pop-up. The following basic elements of the window are available on the first screen. Autosave, a function that is responsible for the automatic saving of your pop-up when it is created. Device selection, available when selecting the desktop and smartphone option in the first step. Depending on the selected icon, desktop, smartphone, it will be possible to edit the display details and the appearance of the pop-up on a given device. Preview. You can go to the preview at any time to see how your pop-up is displayed to other users on the selected device. Show element borders. If the borders of your widgets are invisible, this feature will help you distinguish them from each other. As for the basic widget options themselves, depending on the widget selected, the editable items may differ. If you don't add the form, it will be impossible to create a thank you page. If you want to edit specific widget, the pop-up is built off, click on the desired one. You will be automatically transferred to its editing window. Additionally, in each pop-up widget, you have additional settings option as select top priority item. If your pop-up consists of several elements, columns, images, click the arrow icon to select the top priority item and go to its settings. Move. Click and hold the icon to move widgets among them. Duplicate. Click to duplicate a given widget with its settings. Delete. If you want to get rid of a given item from your pop-up, click the trash can icon. If you want to edit the basic appearance settings of your pop-up, on the right side of the wizard, click Pop-up and then Design tile. You have different editing options here. Pop-up size. Adjust the size of your pop-up. You can use options available in the system that will automatically adjust its size, or choose the custom option and set its width in pixels. Background. Choose a background for your pop-up. This is a handy option if some elements of your widgets are transparent. Add color. Choose a background color for your pop-up. Add image. You can also use any image from the gallery or add your own file. Position on page. This function allows you to specify the position of the image selected in the previous point in the background of your pop-up. Border. In the general pop-up appearance settings, you can also choose whether you want it to have a border or not. Add border. Decide if you want your pop-up to have a border or not. Color. Choose a border color for your pop-up. You can also choose a transparent frame option. Style. Choose the type of line you want your pop-up to be outlined. Size. Select the width of the pop-up border on a scale from 1 to 20. You can create pop-ups using 9 different widgets in any number, except the form widget. The options are columns. Use one of the available column arrangements to add an additional background and margins. Thanks to the column settings, you can add several widgets in the row by dragging them to the field of the selected column. In each of them, you can freely adjust the following settings. Add color. Hover over the selected column and select a background color for it. It will be visible, for example, when you set the transparency level of a color of an image of a widget placed on a column. Add image. You can also use any image from the gallery or add your own file. Position on page. This function allows you to specify the position of the image selected in the previous point in the background of the pop-up column. Margins. By default, elements are pressed to the edge of the box they are in. Move the slider to choose the width of the margins that will separate the widget from the sides of the pop-up. You can set them on a scale from 1 to 50. The possibility of using the column arrangement gives you the possibility to choose the length, width of the form fields, among others. Similarly, you can adjust the size and position of pictures or other elements this way. Text. A widget that allows you to insert a text block into a pop-up. In it, you can customize the following. Text field. You can enter any amount of the text in the text field. You can follow the changes you made on the left side of the screen in the widget preview. Specify the font type and change its colors, background color, bold, italic, underline or strikeout. You can also change its alignment and add bullets. Font size. Set the selected font size from the text field on a scale from 10 to 80. Letter spacing. Regulate the distance between specific pairs of characters. The available scale is 1 to 50. Line height. Define the distance between the text and the widget frames. The rest of the background and spacing settings work similarly to the other widgets. Link. Place a widget to freely link a given field element. Enter here the address of the page to which the person who clicks on the given element will be redirected. The rest of the background and margin settings work similarly to the other widgets. Image. A widget that allows you to add any file you drop down from your computer, an image from the gallery. Drop file here. Select the graphic you want to add. The rest of the background and spacing settings work similarly to the other widgets. Another widget is Button, a widget that allows you to add an interactive button that you can link to. Available settings in this widget are Text. Select the text that will be displayed on the button. Link. Enter the website address to which the user will be redirected after clicking. Rounding. You can freely give the button a round shape by setting the rounding level on a scale from 0 to 50. Vertical padding. Change the spacing height from the top and bottom border of the text on the button. Horizontal padding. Change the spacing heights from the side boundaries of the text on the button. The background settings were similar to the other widgets. Font family. Select the font that will be used to save the text from previous point. Font weight. Decide if you want your text on the button to be normal weight or bold. Text align. Freely format the position of the text on the button from among the available options. Font size. Set the selected font size for the button on a scale from 10 to 80. Letter spacing. Regulate the distance between specific pairs of characters. The available scale is 1 to 50. Line height. Define the distance between the headers and the frames on the form field. Form is a widget that allows you to add a form to a pop-up. Custom Modal Designer allows you to create pop-ups without a form. Adding this widget is optional. It has the following settings. Type. Define the pop-up settings and specify what information you want to include in. Full field borders. You can select an option to have the entire text field outlined. Add headers. Decide if you want the names to be displayed above the text input windows, specifying what to enter in the empty space. Add headers. Decide if you want the names to be displayed above the text input windows, specifying what to enter in this empty space. Add hints in the field. Use the suggestions feature to display them in a text input field and suggest the input to users. Online. Instead of a bordered box, you can display a text input field using only lines as follows. The background color of the text box can also be freely edited to match your form graphically. It is also possible to set the full field frame and the frame as the line itself with all the above settings. Form fields. Specify what data you want to collect in your form. The email address field is required to create a new form and contact card for the customer. Button. The button settings are similar to those in the button widget settings. Colors. Adjust your own color settings of your form. Other settings work similar to other widgets. After adding the form, you have the option to create a thank you page from the available widgets. All their settings are analogous to the pop-up widget settings. If you had already created your pop-up in Designer, you can go to its design settings on the website. There you can find Position on page, a function that allows you to adjust the location of the pop-up on the website. Close button, change the settings of the appearance and position of the button responsible for closing the pop-up on the website. Icon. Selecting this option will set the icon as a closing button on the pop-up. You can freely change its color and choose a shape from the following. Size. Adjust the size of your icon choosing from the available sizes. Image. As a closing button, you can also choose any image from the gallery or drop down a picture in the given place to add it straight from your computer. You can freely change the size of the picture by entering the size you are interested in. The element marked in the picture is responsible for changing the height and width values proportionally with each other. Button location. Function that allows you to adjust the location of the closing button on the pop-up. Horizontal position. Set the horizontal shift of the closing button in relation to the place selected in the previous point. Vertical position. Set the vertical shift of the closed button from the location selected in the previous point. The overlay is an element for the pop-up background displayed on the website. You can edit freely and change its settings. Choose a color for the background behind your pop-up. Transparency. You can freely change its transparency to match the appearance of your website. Shadow. Add the shadow visual effect for your pop-up. You can change shadow color to any color, choosing from the available color palette. Set the transparency on a skull and blur. That means it's spam. Animations allow you to add one of the available pop-up display effects on the page. Click Next to go to the next stage of the designer. If you have included a contact form in your pop-up, an additional settings window will appear. These are the subscription settings. Confirmation. In order to join your contact database, the customer must confirm subscribing to the sending of messages. For this purpose, select Email. Choose one of the previously created email templates confirming subscription. Preview. You can click the Preview button to preview how it's displayed to recipients. Create New. Click to go to Email Designer and create a new message confirming subscription. Sending Account. Select the account from which the email will be sent. Contact. Forms in Customer Model Designer are progressive. If you want contacts who previously agreed to receive emails not to receive a message confirming subscription, select the checkbox. Alert. This option allows you to send an alert informing of the appearance of a new contact in your contact database. Alert text. Enter the content of email message you will receive when a new contact fills in the form. The maximum number of characters is 255. Send an alert to the email address. Select the email address to which you will receive the notification. You can only enter one address. Click Next to go to the last step of the designer. Determine here a pop-up name. Enter the name of the pop-up, which will later help you in identification on the list of your forms. Activation time. Define the time when your pop-up will be displayed on the website. Activate. Click to display your pop-ups to users immediately after its creation. If you don't, you can activate it later from the list of created forms. Display schedule. Specify the time when the pop-up will be available on your website. Always show. The pop-up will be displayed to users around the clock. Set a weekly display schedule. You can set the availability of the pop-up depending on a given hour of the week. Remember to select the time zone from the drop-down list to which the selected data will be applied. Tags. Add the selected tag to the contact. After click. When the contact clicks on the link or button, a recommended option, especially when setting a pop-up without a form. After fulfilling the form. When the contact fills in the form but does not confirm the subscription for the message. After email confirmation. When the contact completes the form and confirms the subscription for the message. Context. Define for which contacts the pop-up will be displayed. Monitor it. That is contact saved by a form that was created in the Salesman system. Anonymous. Contacts who have not signed up using any form created in the Salesman system. Everyone. Every user visiting your website. With opt-in status, that is contacts signed up on sending. Contacts who have a tag. Contacts with a given tag. And then, define display location. It means on which page the created pop-up will be displayed. Location. Select the domain available on the list on which the pop-up will be displayed. On every page of the chosen domain, the pop-up will be displayed on all pages for the web address selected in previous point. Only on the main page, the pop-up will not be visible on any of the sub-pages. URL contains. The pop-up will be displayed on a page within the domain whose URL address contains the phrase. URL does not contain. The pop-up will be displayed only on pages whose URL address does not contain the phrase. And select display moment, which allows you to adjust the time from entering the page after which the pop-up will be displayed. Display as pop-up. The window will pop up after entering the website, taking into account the display conditions set, that is, display after X seconds. The pop-up will be displayed after the selected number of seconds after a user enters the site. Displayed when site is scrolled X%. The pop-up will be displayed after a user scrolls the page by the selected percentage. Choice of 25, 35, 50 and 75%. After X page views, the pop-up will be displayed after the selected number of page views. Each page visited during the visit counts as a new page view. On every visit, display a pop-up every time the user visits the site. Remember that one visit is counted once every 3 hours. Every X visits. Display a pop-up every given number of visits. It means, for settings every 2 visits, the pop-up will be displayed on the 1st, 3rd and 5th. Display as exit pop-up. The pop-up will be displayed at the moment when the user wants to leave the page. Display pause moments. Allow you to block the pop-up from being displayed again when the user clicks the close button. Clicking the X button will block the pop-up from being displayed again. The user clicks on the overlay. The pop-up will not be displayed again if the user clicks on the area outside it. The user clicks on the linked element. Option recommended for pop-ups without a form. Clicking on an element or button will block the pop-up from being displayed again. Click Finish to create a pop-up. If you want to know more, please visit our website support.salesmanago.com.